Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bayou Time Sports. I'm Stan Grava, and it is my pleasure to have here with me the head coach of the Nicholls State Colonels, Tommy Rybacki, as the Colonels get geared up to take on Stephen F. Austin this upcoming Saturday in Nacogdoches, Texas. That kind of stumbled out the mouth just a little bit. The 4-2 Lumberjacks again against the Colonels. 6 o'clock start time. You can catch that game on ESPN if you're not able to get out to Texas to see it. Coach, so great to have you here. Hope you've been doing well as you've had this last week off. And I use that term very loosely because I know you were not off. But that being said, talk a little bit about what that week was like last week.
Yeah, bye week came at a good time for us. First, our coaches gave us the opportunity to get on the road recruiting, look at the landscape of high school players and junior college players, get to some games, get to see some people face to face that otherwise we wouldn't have been able to. And so that was big for us at the beginning of the week. And then also shifting gears, getting with our players, working on some good fundamental stuff, some good base offense, defense, special teams, while also getting a head start on SFA. So we had a good week of practice Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with the players, and then gave them the weekend off heading into this week and this next 6-week push.
You know, obviously, wins and loss-wise, it's not where you would want it to be. From a perspective of it's about us or it's about who we played, what would you categorize that? You know, when you looked back at the start, the first 6 games of the year, was it more about what you guys did or more about maybe the competition level you played?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a combination of both of those things. I mean, we played some really good football teams. I think most of the FCS opponents that we played are really going to be heavily involved in the playoff contention. And then you look at our 2 FBS opponents, 2 really good teams in Troy and Texas State. And so I think, you know, you got to give credit to them. But then you also got to look at what are the controllables, what are the things that we could have done better to win some of those games and put ourselves in better position to win some of those games. And that's where we got to focus our attention on, is what are the things that we control.
Just mentioned that Stephen F. Austin is 4-2. One interesting tidbit about that record is that they've won 4 straight. They actually opened up the season at 0-2 with a loss against Houston and a loss against Abilene Christian. Then they sort of ran off some wins. You know, the Saul Ross win is not real impressive. I don't know much about Cal Poly, but they do have 2 Southland Conference wins against McNeese, and then 2 weeks ago against UIW. They actually had the week off just like you did last week. Give us sort of your reflection of Stephen F. Austin and what you've seen when you look at tape.
Yeah, good football team. You talked about the schedule, 2 good conference wins, a 14-point win against UIW, just like we had early in the season, but a good team that returns a lot of players off of last year's team, especially offensively. It starts with the quarterback, who's a really good player, who I thought if he doesn't hurt his collarbone against us last year, this team is probably in the playoffs a year ago with 8 or 9 wins and maybe even a conference championship. But they got a good group of receivers around them, big offensive line, good stable running backs. And so they returned a lot of the players offensively that they had a year ago. And then defensively, very athletic, very active all across all 3 levels. And so definitely a good quality opponent, going to be a challenge. And we're working hard this week to get ready for it.
You know, they scored 30 points a game. It's a little misleading because they had a couple of blowouts. So one of those against, again, Saul Ross, which is, I'm not sure if it's even a Division III team. It may be an NAIA team. So that being said, it's a little skewed. They give up about 17 points a game defensively. This is a team that seems to be balanced. We talk about that every week. You know, the type of teams you're playing are balanced. The one thing, and I would ask you from the standpoint, you mentioned the quarterback a little bit. Sam Vidlak is a kid who actually played at Montana, and he ends up, you know, in Nacogdoches, Texas. One, how does that happen? And second, playing at Montana, which has such a traditionally good program in FCS football. Talk about what it takes and what he's been doing to lead that team, especially with these 4 wins in a row.
Yeah, I think he originally started at maybe Oregon State or Oregon. I believe it was Oregon State. Started a game or 2 there and then got to Montana and then found a good fit at SFA. He's an older more mature quarterback. I think he's 23, 24 years old. Does a really good job distributing the football. They're an RPO-based offense, so they'll run. He has to make a lot of decisions of whether or not to hand the ball off or throw it to the receivers, and they got a really good group of receivers that are explosive in space. And so he does a great job of managing that, making those decisions, and I think that's what's allowed them to have the success that they've had offensively.
Had the opportunity to see that game against UIW, not live, but I saw it in replay, and it was big plays. And you mentioned the wide receivers that they have, and they came up. One catch was phenomenal. Should have been, one of the top 10 plays of whatever, ESPN. But some of those other catches were big. Runs after the catch were also very big for them. And there's a young man who actually is from East St. John High School who is playing on that team. What will it take? Not just defensively. What will it take offensively for you guys to get the win on Saturday?
Yeah, it's going to be a team effort. You mentioned it. It's going to take the offense, defense, special teams. First offensively, we have to execute. We have to play with the rhythm. We have to change the pace of the game. Be able to run the ball, be able to put the ball in play with some quick, short passing game, and then have some explosive plays on top of that. And so getting all of those things together offensively will be really important. And defensively, it is about preventing the explosive play against this group. You look at the guys, you mentioned Kylan Harris from East St. John. You look at what they've done is they get on top of people and they make explosive plays. And because of that, they get a lead and then they're able to lean on the running game a little bit. So defensively, it will definitely be about, keeping the ball in front, being able to control the line of scrimmage with the running game, and then also special teams, playing sound on special teams, not giving up explosive returns, and being sound in the protection of the kicks.
Very good, Coach. We wish you the best of luck. Again, this Saturday, it's the Colonels taking on the Lumberjacks of Stephen F. Austin over in Nacogdoches, Texas. Thanks again, Coach, for the time. You're always very gracious with us, and we wish you the best on Saturday.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate you, Stan.
Got to take a break. We'll be right back after this.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.